Hello everyone, and welcome to a video that has got to be the most hackiest thing I have ever put together. I have two separate AHK scripts running at the same time to take the coordinates of where I am looking and where I am positioned in one world and put it into another world. This world might happen to look familiar. On the left hand side of your screen we have the Hermitcraft Season 7 seed, and on the right hand side we have its shadow seed. This is something that I only learned about today. Seeds have a shadow seed because of the way in which they generate means you can use the mathematics to basically get a secondary seed that has the same biome map but different terrain generation. It's bonkers, and Ant Venom has a really cool video on it, and it's based on a discovery by KaptainWutax, who actually found the seed for this season of Hermitcraft. So in finding that, they must have made a discovery, or perhaps separate to that, they made this discovery. I'm going to link to Ant Venom's video and to KaptainWutax's post in the description box down below. What we're going to do in this video is have a look at the differences. And so let's talk about the really hacky stuff that's going on right now. If I press too many keys at the same time, for some reason the left hand side of the screen refreshes, but over here I actually have a script on the left hand side of the screen taking the coordinates of where I am, copying them to the clipboard, and on the script on the right hand side of the screen it's constantly pasting it into chat. So we are moving with the left hand player, but on the right hand side of the screen it is catching up with us as the coordinates are getting pasted in here. It's so bonkers. So if you want to know the ins and outs of how this works, you can read that Reddit thread. You can go check out Ant Venom's video. He actually used the Hermitcraft seed on the thumbnail, which caught my attention. Like, oh, what's all this about? And then it was a really interesting topic about how the mathematics of creating worlds from seeds actually means there are two seeds you can have for every single world with this weird shadow terrain. So anyway, we've looked around at the main island. I've got to say, the one that we picked feels pretty good. The one on the right hand side of the screen does feel like a shadow world. Like, it's so weird to have all of this icy terrain come out of the ocean around it. So anyway, I'm now going to go and teleport to a few key locations, a couple of notable ones, and we'll check out the differences between them. So I believe this is Tango's area in front of us. His starter base would have been down here, the main base over there, and he would have had a bunch of icebergs in front of him if we had used the shadow speed. Then over background here, I think that's where Zadaf base starts, and that means that Impulse has got his starter base in this area, his main base just over there, and then beyond him would be Vintage Beef. So for the most part, deserts seem to generate with not too much height variance, so it's not particularly obvious that they're different. But just look at the seed on the right hand side here. There's a whole area there that's made out of water, and then as I turn around, the village we're looking at is Beef's village. We're going to get in a little bit closer, and we're going to try and move so we can look on the right hand side of the screen as well. This is just like magic right here. I really wish there was a way to make it the same on the right hand side, like identically smooth, but that probably would have meant actually modding both of the games, and I can't do that stuff. I just managed to throw together a couple of hacky scripts to send the clipboard from one side to the other. So this is Crysis Bay, where he ripped out a lot of this land and built his shipping yard. You can see that actually in this biome the terrain is fairly similar all around. We're looking at the hill that he's built his bank on top of, and somewhere to the right would have been the skyscrapers, and then over in this direction is where my base is, and I know this part of the map very well. Some notable differences here. This lake leads up to where we have the two creeper towers, and as you can see the height is totally different on the right hand side, and the river is kind of like wiped out around this area. Now it's this hill here where I built Pearlescent Moon's castle, and there's also a desert temple off in the distance, which is actually missing on the right hand side. But as you can see in the shadow seed, there's like a really large hilly area out here. Now here on the left hand side, I know the jungle really well. My portal is built on top of the landmass. Over here, we then have the jungle temple down in this spot, and on the right hand side it's totally different. There's no hill, there's all of this river area, and then it would be over the other side of this hill that I then built the big first building with all the honey farms inside of it. And then all of these lakes over the back here, we would have had the iron farm straight ahead. Some of that stuff actually looks quite similar on the right hand side, doesn't it? But it is fascinating just to know that there are two seeds like this. It's so bizarre. So there is the jungle that has my base, and across this desert, when you get all the way to the other side, you see Mumbo Jumbo's base over in front of me. And unfortunately, I don't really know the area very well. Obviously, I know the jungle like the back of my hand. So when I fly over here, I actually really struggle to tell where people's bases could have been. Maybe if you know this area well from watching the videos, you might be a little better than me. For the most part, it looks really similar where we're at. So I'm going to try and find a little bit more of the land that's distinctive. So what we're looking at here is the desert area outside of the jungle, and this is where Iskall has come along and built a bunch of temporary stuff in the beginning. So somewhere back there would have been his Omega Tree of Doom, as he calls it. And if we look over in this direction, icebergs tends to be the big theme here. The main commercial island in the middle is surrounded by icebergs. And we are now approaching what is known as Tattoo Ren. This area right here, I'm pretty sure, is where Ren has his Star Wars base. In fact, directly in front of me is the location. It's slightly different on the right-hand side. Some water down there, as you can see. And then over on this side, it kind of looks like it's got a different distribution of trees. A similar amount overall, but in different patches. Somehow, someway, I managed to put myself in spectator mode, and in the process, I put myself in survival mode. So we're back at the world spawn. I managed to do that on both of these while the scripts are running, and I just wondered to myself, is the cave generation down below going to be the same? And unfortunately, we don't have night vision, and you know, because I didn't think of this in advance, it's going to be super tricky to actually do. But if we just move into position and stay still, you can see that the cave generation is actually different on each of these as well. So entirely different adventures could have unfolded underground. You know, maybe mob cages and spawners, they're probably all different as well. This is so fascinating. This is such a great discovery, I think. This is, yeah. So we've had a peruse around the map, we've had a little bit of a browse, and we've kind of gotten our head around the concept, right? I don't think there's too much else to say. I will say I'm not releasing the scripts for making this stuff work because it was super hacky and tricky to set up, and somehow I got there in the end and actually made this work. But yeah, it was totally worth it to see these side by side. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, you can find Antvenom's video if you want to learn more about this in the description box down below, and you can find KaptainWutax thread on Reddit as well. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye bye.